All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Halayim Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so I got this article here, man. And as you see, the title reads, U.S. Space Command preparing for space wars as global tensions rise. All right, now when I first seen this, just the title alone of this article, all right, it reminded me of Revelation, the 12th chapter, all right, the 7th verse, all right, talking about the war in heaven, and also 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, all right, the war in heaven, which the war in heaven is when Yahweh Shai returns with the angels, all right, and all the nations of this earth come together, all of their military come together to try to fight Yahweh Shai and the angels, man. All right, because when Yahweh Shai returns, all right, this man is so prideful, all right, that he's going to try to fight Yahweh Shai himself, Yahweh Shai and the angels himself, man. You know, and they're going to be scared as hell, man. Like the scriptures say, they're going to be very, very sore afraid, but yet durst fight. They're going to be scared as hell when Yahweh Shai and the angels return. All right, they're going to be shitting bricks, man. All right, but they're going to fight anyway, because that's the Lord that's going to harden their heart to fight anyway, because the Lord is going to put on a show, man. He's going to put on a show just so he could show us his power, man. All right, because when you read 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it talks about, because you know Ezra seen the vision of Yahweh Shai's return with the angels and all the damage and all the slaughter that he's going to do. All right. Ezra said that he said the only thing left was the smell of dust and smoke, man. Everything's going to get blasted into powder when Yahweh Shai returns, man. Everyone's going to turn into powder and dust when Yahweh Shai returns, man. All right, especially here in America, because all of America is going to be destroyed. From New York to California, America is going to be a wasteland, a desert. All right. It's going to be nothing but dust, and it's never going to be inhabited ever again. You know? All right? This, when you read Revelation 12 and 7, the war in heaven, you know, because these wacky-tacky Christians, all right? These wacky-tacky Christians that have no wisdom, knowledge, or understanding of the Bible, all right? They think that it's talking about a war in heaven, all right? A war where a war in the spiritual realm where the Heavenly Father's throne is. Nah, man. All right, it's talking about here on earth during the time of World War III, because Yahweh Shai is going to return during the time of World War III, man. All right, when these nuclear missiles are being shot off. All right, and when Yahweh Shai returns, all right, all the militaries of each nation on earth are all going to come together, all right, and fight and try to fight Yahweh Shai. It's going to be their fighter jets fighting the chariots, man. All right, and it's going to be a breeze for Yahweh Shai and the angels, man. You know? Like the scriptures say, he neither lift up finger or whatever, you know? All right, so matter of fact, let me read this real quick. It says, U.S. Space Command preparing for space wars, all right, as global tensions rising, all right? And there is going to be a space war again, that war in heaven that Revelation 12 and 7 talks about, all right? So matter of fact, let's just grab it. All right, so I can show you. All right, I got it here. All right, Revelation, the 12th chapter. All right, the 7th verse. It says, and there was a war in heaven. All right, this war in heaven is talking about when Yahweh Shai and the angels return. All right, and all the militaries of this earth, all right, their fighter jets, all right, gonna all come together and try to fight Yahweh Shai and the angels when he returns. That's that war in heaven, meaning the war that's in space, in the skies, man. All right. That's that war in heaven, all right? And there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels, all right, yeah, because it's going to be Michael and the other archangels and the rest of the angels, all right, fought against the dragon, which represents this damn devil Esau, all right, and the dragon fought and his angels. So it's going to be Yahawashi and the angels, all right, fighting all the fighter jets, the militaries of this earth when they return, man, all right, because Yahawashi, all right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, all right, has a bone to pick with the people on this earth. It has a bone to pick with Esau, man. All right, this damn devil, man. All right, Esau, Edom, starting with the elite Becan families. When you read Isaiah, the 63rd chapter, it talks about when he comes back, he's coming back to slaughter the millions of Edomites, man. All right, so there's going to be that's the real space wars in heaven, man. All right, so matter of fact, let's read this one more time. It says, Revelation 12:7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. And you can also read about this in 2nd Esdras, man. 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. So let's grab that real quick. All right, 2nd Esdras 13. All right, I love this. I love this chapter, man. All right, I love breaking this down, man. All right, so give me a second. Let me grab my all right, so 2nd Esdras 13, let's grab it. 2nd Esdras 13. All right, and we'll just start at the first verse. All right, so it says 2nd Esdras 13:1. All right, it says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night. And that dream is talking about a vision. All right, he's getting ready to explain the vision that he's seen of Yahawashi's return and what he's getting ready to do when he returns with the angels, man. All right, so matter of fact, let's just keep reading. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Woo! All right, that man is talking about Yahawashi. All right, the thousands of heaven is talking about the angels, man. All right, it says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Yeah, because this entire earth is going to tremble when Yahawashi returns, man. All right, that's the Lord, that's the Messiah. All right, the power that he's coming with is something that's far above anything your mind can even fathom or imagine, man. All right, you can't even wrap your head around it, man. All right, Yahawashi, man, all right, and at the end, all right, of the vision, all right, Ezra said that when he seen it, that he was sore afraid, man. He was very afraid, man, when he seen this vision of Yahawashi's return, man. And he's going to break it down, as I read on. All right, let me start from the top again. 2nd Esdras 13:1, it says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, which is talking about Yahawashi and the angels. All right, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Yeah, because people are going to drop dead from the sight of Yahawashi's return, man. All right, it's going to be so far beyond, that they ever even hoped or looked for, man. It's going to be so far beyond that anyone could have ever imagined, man. All right, verse 4, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt. Woo, all right, that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. All right. All right, and that's also talking about, matter of fact, let me get Revelation 1. Let me get Revelation 1 and 7. All right, it It says, Revelation 1 and 7, it says, behold, he cometh with clouds. All right, that clouds are talking about chariots, what this earth calls a UFO, man. All right, those orbs that you see in the sky. All right, that's just talking about the chariots, man. All right, because we just read is that he's going to come back with the thousands of heaven, which are the angels. They're going to come back on chariots, man. All right, it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Yeah, he's going to wail. All the kindreds of this earth are going to wail. All right, because why are they going to wail? All right, because he's coming back to slaughter. Or he's coming back with a power that your mind can't even imagine or fathom, or even you know, render. You know, something that your mind can't even render, man. You know, it can't even, you know, process it. You know. All right, it says, and every eye shall see him. All right, and they also which pierce him. Yeah, that's also a reincarnation scripture. All right, because how the ones 2,000 years ago are also going to, the ones that pierced him 2,000 years ago are going to see his coming. All right, that's not talking about 2,000-year-old men, all right, walking this earth. Nah, that's talking about, you know, reincarnation, because they're here on this earth today and they're going to see his return, man. All right, so that's the precept, you know, for verse 3. All right, in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, as we read right here, it says, and I beheld, and lo, that man, which is Yahawashi, waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Yeah, he's coming back with the angels, man, on chariots, what this world calls a UFO. And we just read that, all right, Revelation 1 and 7. All right, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt. Woo, all right. That's yo, all right. All they burnt, man. All right, that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. All right, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven, all right, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Let me read that again. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Yeah, that multitude that was gathered together of men out of number, that's talking about all the militaries of every nation on this earth. It says they came to subdue the man that came out of the sea, all right, which is talking about Yahawashi. So they're going to try to subdue the Lord himself, Yahawashi, and the angels himself. They're going to try to fight Yahawashi and the angels himself when he comes back, man. And that's the pride of this damn devil, Esau, man. All right. All right. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. This great mountain is talking about a chariot, man. All right. What this earth calls the so-called UFO. All right. This mountain is talking about a chariot. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. Yeah, so this mountain, this very great mountain, all right, that Yahawashi is coming back on, which is a chariot, all right. Ezra said that this mountain is so big, he couldn't see where it ended and where it started, man. So it's going to cover the whole sky, man. That's how big this chariot is, man. That is going to cover the entire sky. You can't see where it begins or where it ends. All right. Verse 7 again, it says, but I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. Yeah, so he was trying to see where the place, where the chariot was coming from. This great mountain where it was coming from, but he couldn't, man, because it was so big. He couldn't see the ends of it. He couldn't see where it was going, where it was coming, man. That's how big it was. So the people of this earth, when Yahawashi returns, this earth is going to tremble, man. Literally, people are going to die and faint at the sight of it, man. All right, it's gonna be, you know, this is what we're reading right now, is that war, Yahweh Shai's return, and that war in heaven, written about in that's also written about in Revelation 12 and 7. All right, but this verse, all right, this chapter goes into more detail of it, man. All right, it says, verse 6 again, it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had engraved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. You see, he tried to see where it started and where it ended, and he couldn't see where it started or ended, man. All right, the chariot. All right. It says, verse 8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Yeah, they're going to still fight anyway. All right? Because this is Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, our Lord, we're talking about, man. Woo! All right? It's because when they see him, they were sore afraid. People are going to drop dead at the sight of Yahweh Shai's return, bro. It's going to be something so far out, man. Your mind can't even process it or render it, bro. It says that they were so afraid and yet durst fight. Yeah, because the Lord is going to put the spirit in them to fight anyway, man. All right. All right. It says, and lo, it says, where am I? Verse 9, it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude, which is all the armies of this earth coming together to fight Yahweh Shai, all right? It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. All right, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. All right. So when Yahweh Shai returns, all right, all the armies and all the militaries of every nation on earth, when they come all together to fight Yahweh Shai on earth, all right, Yahweh Shai and the angels are going to get at him, man. All right. And as you see right here, verse 11, it says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden, all right, of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Woo! All right. All right, Ezra's, he's seen the vision of when Yahweh Shai returns, he's going to destroy all the armies of this earth. He's getting ready to bring this man down. All right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh is going to send Yahweh Shai to bring this man down, to bring this devil down, Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Starting with the elite banking families. He's bringing all the nations together for World War III just so they could destroy themselves and be destroyed. So he could bring them down, so they could be a no people, man. And so that he can raise the true Israelites up to be kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth once again, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American men. All right? Which are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of. He's doing this for us, man. All right, he's coming back to take all power, all rule, and all authority, man. All right, like it tells you in let's grab that. All right, what's that? 1 Corinthians. All right, 1 Corinthians The 15th chapter. I love reading this, man. I bring this out all the time. I start at verse 24. It says, 1 Corinthians 15 and 24, it says, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the heavenly Father, Yahweh. All right, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, because that's what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do, to put down all rule, all authority and power, man. Because Yahweh Shai is coming back to take what is his, this planet Earth. This planet Earth was created by Yahweh Shai himself, all right, for him to rule on, man. So the Lord is coming back for what he created, all right, for himself, which is this earth. The Lord is coming back to rule on this planet Earth forever and ever and ever. That's the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is rulership of this planet Earth, all right. There's only going to be one nation that is going to rule this planet Earth when Yahweh Shai comes back. And that's the nation of Israel, which first and foremost is Yahweh Shai's kingdom. All right. And then he's going to share his kingdom with the elect. He's going to share his throne with the elect, the 144,000. We are going to rule with Yahweh Shai. All right. We, saying, being hopeful, man. I say we being hopeful, being humble, man. All right. I hope I am of the 144. I hope I am of the elect. I say that humbly, man. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, man. It says, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, Yahweh, all right, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, for he must reign, all right, because that's what Yahweh Shai is coming back to do, to reign on this planet Earth, all right, till he has put all enemies under his feet, and his enemies are all the other nations, man, all right, outside of Israel, the heathen nations, man, all right, the Gentile nations. All right, for he must reign till he has put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Yeah, because the elect, all right, they're going to receive crowns of life, man. All right, and they're never going to die. They're going to be immortal forever. Okay, all right, so let's go back to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. All right, it says, verse 11 again. It said, matter of fact, let me start at verse 8. It says, verse 8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him. All they that were gathered together to subdue him is talking about all the armies and militaries of this earth, man. They're going to try to subdue and destroy and fight Yahweh Shai when he returns. All right, which that goes to show you the pride of this damn devil Esau, the pride of the so-called white man. All right, because they're the most proud people on this earth, the so-called white man, because they have ruled this planet Earth for so long. All right, that they think they're never going to come down from the rulership of this planet Earth. But Yahweh Shai is going to take them down. All right, Yahweh Shai is going to take them down, as we're reading right here. All right. And as we just read in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, all right, that he's going to bring down all rule, all authority and power, man. All right. So verse 8, it says, and this is the good news. This is the good news. When we read this should give us hope, and we should be happy as hell, man. All right. That Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, this is the good news. We should be happy. We're supposed to hasten Yahweh Shai's return. All right, this is the good news, man, that the Lord is getting ready to bring us up out of this hellhole that we're living in. All right, the hellhole you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are living in, man. This hellhole that we're living in, man. This damn hell that we're living in. All right, in these mortal bodies, being pained in every type of way, emotionally, physically, mentally, all right, having to work 2 to 3 jobs. Some of our people got to work 2-3 jobs just to get by until they die. This is hell that we're living in. This ain't life. This is hell that we're living in, man. Being subject unto payments until we die. All right? Having to pay tribute unto scum. Unto bases of men that rule over us, man. All right? You know? Living paycheck to paycheck. This is hell, man. Some of our people are some of our people are homeless. You know? They don't got jobs. They're unemployed. They're trying to be employed. You know? It's hard for some of our people to get jobs out here, man. You know? So verse 8, 2nd Ezra 13:8, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid and yet durst fight. Yeah, so they're gonna be sore afraid, very afraid at the sight of Yahawashi when he returns, man. But it says, and yet durst fight. They're gonna fight anyway, because the Lord is gonna harden their heart, harden their spirits, all right, to fight him anyway, because the Lord is gonna put on a show, man. All right, just so he could show his power, man. The Lord's a show off, man. All right. It says, verse 9, it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, yeah, because they're coming with violence to try to fight Yahawashi, all right? It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived. All right, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So Esdras, he seen the great damage. He had a vision of the great damage and power and slaughter the Lord is coming with when he returns. He said, when I saw this, I was afraid. Bro, this should put fear in your heart. This should put fear in your heart, bro. This should make you want to get right with Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, man. When you read things like this. Ezra said that when he seen this, I was sore afraid. Because he said that when he seen this, nothing was to be perceived. He said that this multitude, all right, he explained that this multitude that was coming together to fight Yahawashi, he said that this multitude was innumerable, so large and big that you can't even count it. But when Yahawashi opened his mouth, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke, going to show you the power of the Lord, man. Because it's going to be it's going to be all the armies of every nation on this earth coming together. That's how big this multitude is, man. That's going to come to try to fight Yahawashi. But he said he said that the Lord neither lifted up his hand nor held a sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. All right, and he said that they were all mixed together. All right, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, woo, all right, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Yo, come on, man. bro, you should think about this, man. You know, it should, you know, try to vision it and render it, man, because this is real, bro. All right, this is real. This is what's getting ready to happen, bro. All right, we don't got 12, 13 years here, bro. This is what's getting ready to pop off and happen. Yahweh Shai getting ready to crack this sky and fulfill this prophecy that we're reading right now, man. All right, this is all going to come during the time of World War III. Because the nations, when they're fighting, they're going to put aside their differences to fight Yahweh Shai. They're all going to come together and fight Yahweh Shai and the angels when he returns, man. This is what we're reading. All right. It says, verse 12, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him an other peaceable multitude. All right. And there came much people unto him. Some were glad, which were the elect. All right. Some were sorry. All right. Which, you know, is the 2/3. All right. All right. Some of them were bound. All right. Which are the other nations. All right. And some were brought of them that were offered. All right. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, he said he was sick. He said when he was sick, he said he was sick when he seen this, man. Through great fear. He said he was sick with great fear, man. You know, and I could relate. You know, that's how you feel, bro. When you come into the true fear of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, all right? When the true fear, when his true fear and dread falls upon you, man, it's like it just, hold up, man. All right, my bad. I had to pause the video real quick. I got a little emotional, man, because this shit is fucking real. All right? It's real, bro. When the true fear and when his true fear and dread falls upon you, was something that you can't explain, bro. Your hair starts standing up. You get goosebumps. You start constantly praying without ceasing. You're constantly bowing down to the Lord. You know, you're constantly in this word. You can't depart from it, man. You know, you read, you study, you do the work just so you can feel safe, man. Because when you're in this word, when you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're reading, you're studying, you know, you're pushing this work, you're teaching, man. You're out on the highways and hedges, man. You feel safe because you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. You feel safe when you're in this word. Your face is in this word, man. Your face is in this book, man. I remember when I first came. Woo! Man. You know, you know, he said right here, then I was sick through great fear, man. You really feel like that, man. You feel sick, man. Like you want to throw up, man. You know? That's why the prophets are out on the highways and hedges constantly, week in, week out, teaching this word, man. Because they do this in hopes that they're going to be saved, man. Because nobody is saved yet, man. We do this in hopes that we're going to be saved. We're doing this in hopes that we're pleasing Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, man. You know? See, the elect is only going to take heed, man. The elect is only going to take heed and understand what we're saying, man. And understand. Only the elect is going to take heed and understand, you know, what we're saying, man. They're going to get chills through our words, man. Through our teaching and preaching, they're going to gain fear, man. Do not the scriptures say that we, through the fear of the Most High, we persuade men? All right, we teach people the fear of the Most High, who he really is, how he works. We teach that he kills and destroys, which is literally what we're reading right now. You know? When you really believe this, man, you a certain fear and a certain type of spirit falls on you. You know? It's that serious, man. It's that serious, man. You know, and through our words, you know, through our emotion, all right, when the people look at us in our eyes, our faces, they see we're serious, man. When they hear our voice, man, we're not out on the highways and hedges for nothing. We're not out there looking like fools for nothing. You know? Because to the people, we do look like fools, man. You know, we're out on the highways and hedges screaming and yelling, you know, teaching, telling you that America's going to be destroyed. You know, nuclear missiles are coming to the people that can't receive this because it's not for them, you know. To the people that can't receive it, that we look crazy to them out there because it's not for them, man. You know, it's something that the Lord didn't give them faith to believe in, man. The Lord didn't open up their minds, man. So this is that war in heaven. That's that space war. That's the real space war, man. You know? That's the real space war. You know? And this is a chapter, I love reading this chapter all the time, man. You know, if I could read it every day, I teach it every day, I would, man. And I could if I wanted to, man. But you know, all right, I love reading this, man. I love it because this is beautiful, man. I can't wait till the Lord does this, man. All right, this is what we're hoping for. We can't wait till the Lord destroys all. Ooh, bro, this is literally this is the greatest thing, man. This is the good news, man, that the Lord is getting ready to destroy all these other nations, man. All right, woo. All right. So when you go back to this article, hold on, let me pause the video real quick. When you go back to this article, all right, when you go back to this article, the title reads, U.S. Space Command Preparing for Space Wars, all right, and as global tensions rising, man, as global tensions rise. And I just gave you the space war scripture, man. All right, the real space war is the war in heaven, all right, written in spoken about Revelation 12:7. And 2nd Ezra the 13th chapter, what we just read. All right, how Yahweh Shai, you know, all he smelt was all he perceived was dust and the smell of smoke, man. You know, Ezra, when he seen the vision of the Lord returning, all right, and destroying all the nations of this earth, man, that are going to come together to try to fight him, man, when he returns, man. All right, U.S. Space Command, all right, preparing for space wars, all right, as global tensions rise, yeah. All right, because that's what's getting ready to happen. World War III, global tensions. This whole world is ooh. Do y'all know? Do y'all live under a rock? Do you not see what's going on right now? Y'all obviously not paying attention. You know, the people of the 2/3 and the rest of the people that are going to be destroyed, they're not paying attention to the true prophets and the servants of the Lord. All right, this flood of fire is getting ready to sweep them off their feet. They're going to get caught with their pants down, man. All right, because they don't want to hearken unto us, man. U.S. Space Command preparing for space wars as global tensions rise, man. All right, World War III. All right, the tensions are rising. All right, between these nations. All right, daily, man. All right, and it's the Lord that's bringing all these nations together for World War III. All right, it's the Lord that's putting the tensions between these nations, man. All right, so he could fulfill his word, man. So his word could be fulfilled. All right, Isaiah 55:11. All right, my word shall not return unto me void. All right, because World War III is written all throughout the scriptures. Matter of fact, let's get Isaiah. All right, Isaiah 34. Let's get Isaiah 34. All right, Isaiah 34. All right, let's read it. It says, look at the subheading, look at the subtitle, look at the title. It says, God's wrath against nations. All right, because the Lord is getting ready to bring the nations together for World War III. All right, so he could destroy them. All right, the Lord is doing that for us. The Lord is bringing the nations together so he could destroy them. So they can have no more power, no more nothing. All right, he's doing that for us. He's bringing these people down, man. So that now we can be kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth once again. But it's going to be forever, forever and forever and forever. And we're never going to come down from the rulership of this planet Earth. And all these other nations, all right, are going to be beneath our feet. They're going to be our slaves and our subjects. Just like we are their slaves and subjects now. All right, it's going to be a complete role reversal. That's what Luke the 16th chapter is about. All right. When the Lord spoke about the parable, all right, of the rich man and Lazarus, all right, it says Isaiah 34:1, it says, come near ye nations. Yeah, all the nations are coming near for what? For World War III, all right. Isaiah 34:1, all right, it says, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people, let the earth hear, and all the earth and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. All right, verse 2, for the indignation means righteous anger. All right, for the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. That's right. And how is he going to put his indignation, all right, and his fury upon their armies, all right, the nations of this earth in World War III? By making them fight each other so they could destroy themselves by nuclear fire. All right, it says, for the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He has utterly destroyed them. Woo! He has delivered them to the slaughter. Woo! All right, it says, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Woo! All right, it says, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. All right, that's talking about the mushroom cloud. All right, it says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, a mushroom cloud. All right, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth, all right, off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. All right, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. All right, Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. All right, Edom is the so-called white man today. All right, so he says, my sword is going to come down upon Idumea. All right, because that's who the Lord is coming back to destroy. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He's coming down. He's coming back to take him down from the rulership of this planet. This is the good news. All right, because he's the devil. He's our number one enemy, and the Lord is coming back to take him down for us, man. Because we can't do it on our own. We need the Lord to take this man down. All right, because look at the position of our people. Look at the minds of our people, man. They're done out here, man. They want to forever be slaves. All right, only the elect is returning. The true prophets and the true servants of the Lord. All right, all right, it says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. All right, the Lord said his sword is going to be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. All right, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So the Lord's getting ready to judge this man. All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the people of my curse. Yeah, he called them the people of my curse. What would they curse with? Leprosy. All right, it says the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. Yeah, the blood of Esau, man. All right, it is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys and rams, which all represent Edomites, man. All right, for Yahweh has a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which the modern day Basra and Idumea is talking about America. All right, so because Basra was a major city in ancient Edom. All right, but the modern day Edom is America. All right, modern day Basra is America. So the scriptures say, for Yahweh has a sacrifice in Basra, yeah, all right, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which represents, you know, he's coming back to slaughter Edomites, man. All right, Isaiah the 63rd chapter. All right, it says, and the unicorns shall come down with them, all right, and the bullocks with the bulls, all right, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. Come on, man. All right, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Yeah, so the Lord is going to avenge us, man, for everything Esau had done to us and these other nations had done to us as well. All right. So let's matter of fact, let's go back to this article, see what this article is really talking about, man. All right. So it says in late 2024, it says amid escalating global tensions, all right, because even to this day, the global tensions are rising, man. All right. It says U.S. Space Command executed a provocative orbital maneuver involving an American military satellite and a French ally, closing in on a suspected Russian spacecraft to signal readiness for space wars. All right, like I said, though, the real space war when Yahweh Shai returns. All right, that's the war in heaven. All right, this high stakes rendezvous, all right, and proximity operation marked a bold escalation, demonstrating that the U.S. and its partners are gearing up for satellite combat against adversaries. All right. The maneuver wasn't merely a technical drill, but a deliberate warning to rivals like Russia, showcasing advanced capabilities, all right, in orbital warfare, all right, as geopolitical conflicts spill into the cosmos, all right, with nations increasingly militarizing space, all right, deploying anti-satellite weapons and surveillance systems. This incident underscores the growing risk of a full-scale space conflict, and there is going to be a full-scale space conflict. We just broke it down this whole time, man. All right, the last 46 minutes. All right, it says where critical infrastructure like GPS and communications could be targeted. As U.S. Space Command ramps up preparations, experts warned that such operations could trigger an arms race beyond Earth's atmosphere, all right, potentially disrupting global stability in ways unseen. Woo! All right, yeah, that's what's getting ready to happen. All right, it says potentially disrupting global stability in ways unseen since the Cold War, all right? So, you know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, all right? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Raktazad, this lesson was edifying, okay? I want to say call Halal Yum, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakal Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book, all right? And, you know, you also got the Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth under the other nations, all right, looking like the other nations, all right? You're going to have Israelites looking Chinese, Japanese, all right? You're going to have Israelites in Taiwan, Spain, all right? Portugal, the Netherlands, Finland, all right? You know, the elect is also scattered under those nations, looking like the other nations, man. They're also going to be gathered, all right, from the four winds of the earth, all right? So with that being said, until the next one, shalom, shalom.